Today in Cloud Gaming News, we're going to be talking about Google Stadia, PlayStation Now, but we're going to begin with a quick bit of news on GeForce Now. Right now, you can pick up a free game on the Epic Game Store that's yours to keep as long as you claim it before this Thursday, and the title in question is exactly what you're seeing in the background. Redout Enhanced Edition is super fun and super fast paced. If you like racing games like Wipeout, this is exactly what you're looking for. It's actually a really great game and I highly recommend picking it up, especially at the price point of free. I also want to use this moment to remind every GeForce Now user out there, or even potential GeForce Now users, to always claim the games on the Epic Game Store for free. Seriously, I've gotten a ton of free games from it, and even if the game isn't supported right now on GFN, that's not to say that it won't get support later down the road, which I've seen happen multiple times. The Epic Game Store has been giving out free games each and every Thursday, so why not take advantage of it? Moving on from the GeForce Now news, let's get to probably the biggest news of the day, and that's PlayStation Now's big update, or should I just start calling it PlayStation Plus? The merger and revamp of both of these services is now on the horizon, and there's a lot to look forward to. Today, Sony decided to share some of the information about the games coming to the subscription offering, as well as how games are going to be added. Before we talk about and take a look at the games, I want to talk about the addition of games. At the beginning of every month, games will be added to the PlayStation Plus Basic subscription. This is pretty much PlayStation Plus as it works now. It's a monthly refresh that occurs on the first Tuesday of every month. Now when it comes to PlayStation Plus Extra, Premium, and Deluxe for those countries without any sort of streaming support, games will be added in the middle of each month. And Sony stated that the number of games refreshed will vary month to month. And now let's take a look at the games. I'm just gonna throw up the list up here as I won't be going through every game individually, there's way too many to do that, but I certainly want to highlight some of the names because there are some very notable additions here. When it comes to the PS4 and PS5 catalog, PlayStation Studios is including heavy hitters like Bloodborne, Death Stranding Director's Cut, PS5's Demon's Souls, Destruction All-Star, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, God of War, and much more. It is important to remember that the strategy for Sony does not include launching games day one into this new subscription offering, but they are offering some very key titles here. When it comes to third-party support for both the PS4 and PS5 catalog, there are also big titles worth mentioning, such as Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Mortal Kombat 11, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and more. One interesting thing to note is that Ubisoft did announce that Ubisoft Classics will be a part of this subscription at no additional cost. The Classics catalog from Ubisoft appears to be games that are around 18 or so months old that will be added periodically onto the service. In addition to this, they also announced that Ubisoft Plus, the subscription for day one Ubisoft games, will be coming to PlayStation later down the road at an additional cost. The entire selection of PS4 and PS5 games will be a part of the PlayStation Plus Extra, Premium, and Deluxe plans. Now let's move on to some of the games from the Classic Games catalog, which includes games from the original PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP. Currently confirmed coming directly from PlayStation Studios include Ape Escape, Hot Shots Golf, IQ Intelligence Cube, Jumping Flash, Siphon Filter, and Super Stardust Portable. When it comes to third-party partnerships, they've secured Mr. Driller, Tekken 2, Worms World Party, and Worms Armageddon. On top of this, there's also the following titles that they've showcased as remasters for the Classic Games catalog as well. Once again, because it needs repeating, this is not the entire list of classic games, this is simply just an example of games to come, and there's gonna be more on launch. When it comes to the PS3 catalog of games, this will only be available to the PlayStation Plus Premium plan, and that's because the Deluxe plan is strictly for countries where PlayStation streaming is not accessible. PS3 titles, due to the way that they were made, are really hard to emulate, and because of this, they're only available to play through PlayStation streaming. This is the list of games from the PlayStation Studios PS3 era that are being added. You can see franchises from Hot Shots Golf to Infamous to MotorStorm and Ratchet & Clank. Might I also recommend playing Puppeteer if you haven't already, seriously a fantastic game that deserves much more attention than it got. Some third-party games include the likes of Asura's Wrath, Lost Planet 2, and Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. Now in addition to these catalog of games, PlayStation Plus Deluxe and Premium subscribers will also have access to time-limited game trials. This will give you 2 hours with a game to let you decide whether or not you want to pick it up. The games currently confirmed to have game trials include Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, Horizon Forbidden West, Cyberpunk 2077, Farming Simulator 22, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and WWE 2K22. That the 2 hours will only count while you're actually in-game playing. I know I'm kind of blasting through all this info right now, but that's because I will be doing a deep dive of the service as soon as it's available. The last thing I want to mention before moving on is that launch is just a week away for Asia, as it starts on May 24th, followed by Japan on June 2nd, North and South America on June 13th, and finally Europe, Australia, and New Zealand on June 23rd. Markets where cloud streaming is currently available for PlayStation is the US, Canada, Japan, UK, France, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Austria, Switzerland, Ireland, Spain, Italy, Portugal, Norway, Denmark, Finland, and Sweden. The following markets will be launching in June, and that includes Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Greece, Hungary, Malta, Poland, Republic of Cyprus, Romania, Slovakia, and Slovenia. I know that's a lot to take in, but expect even more info to drop as we get closer to the launch of the revamped PlayStation Plus. For now, let's switch gears and move on to talking about Google Stadia. To start off, we're going to be making a clarification about the latest Ubisoft info that dropped not too long ago that showcased multiple projects in the works and on their way to Stadia. There's both good and bad news to share here. According to StadiaSource.com, a Ubisoft spokesperson has reached out to inform them that For Honor was once again listed as an error. This is a really weird mistake to make twice in a row, and it sucks because I am a huge fan of the game and I think it'd be a great addition, especially now that crossplay support is in, but if they're going out of their way to clarify this, it probably isn't coming. On the bright side, they did confirm that Roller Champions will be coming to Stadia, which is an upcoming Ubisoft free-to-play title that has crossplay support as well. It's a 3v3 competitive multiplayer sports game played from a third-person perspective. It's the type of game where teamwork is essential, and I have to admit, I think it looks pretty great. I love the overall aesthetic, and if it's a good teamwork-based game, I can totally see it gathering a community. While I do find the whole For Honor error really strange, I think it's great to at least see that Ubisoft is continuing to support Stadia with their newer titles. But that's not all the Stadia news for today. Brian Chappell from the Nerf Report has pointed out that there's been a new investors report from Take-Two, a company that's listed streaming and gaming platforms as key business drivers. Interestingly enough, aside from PlayStation Plus and Game Pass Ultimate, Google Stadia does get a mention here. And while it does excite me with the potential releases of future titles on Stadia, I don't want to get anyone's hopes too high up. After all, this wouldn't be the first time we see cloud gaming get a mention directly from Take-Two themselves. You might be surprised to know that they've mentioned Stadia in the past since 2019 and cloud gaming all the way back as far as 2012. And with statements from the CEO calling Stadia over-promising tech as well as a disappointment, I wouldn't be banking on them releasing more games onto Stadia anytime soon. I would love for them to prove me wrong, but their track record of Stadia support so far has been pretty abysmal. We're still waiting to see what happened with Mafia Definitive Edition. NBA 2K22 never made its way over to Stadia despite the prequels making their way, and the same could be said about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is the newest installment in the Borderlands franchise. Like I said, prove me wrong, Take-Two. I would love to see it, but right now I refuse to get my hopes up. Do you think I'm being too cynical, or do you agree with me? Let me know down in the comment section below. And with that, we'll wrap up this cloud gaming news video. If you enjoyed it at all or found it helpful, be sure to hit that like button as it really does help the channel out, and if you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. Today's end of video question is simply going to be asking you what game you're looking forward to most later this year. As always, thanks for watching the video. This has been the Virtual Cloud, giving you the latest and greatest on everything cloud gaming related, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.